Why it seem like those who take no accountability want to hold you accountable? You know what I'm saying? Why it seem like the immature is quick to point out when you're not being mature, you know? Everybody wants the title of leader, big dog, head honcho. They want to be on the top of the hierarchy, but want none of the responsibilities that come with it, none of the pressures that comes with it. You know, the consequences for decisions made while being the big dog or the tip top or the one, you know, everybody looks to. You know, so it's kind of funny to me, man. Just thinking, you know, when somebody has it hard, it seems like more times than not, they want you to feel that same hardship. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think it's so prevalent to see those who look like me and possibly those who look like you, depending on who you may be. That's why it's so easy to find those of us from among us, to put those from among us through the fire. You get what I'm saying? Like, those who felt the fire want to put others through the fire. You feel me? Those who had hardships, like had hard times, they want you to feel the hard times too, you know? I don't know what that is, like innately, I guess, or over time we have equipped our mentality to believe in such a way that makes it to where if I'm not going to succeed, I don't want to see you succeed. And everything I had to go through, you had to have gone through. It's like most of us have a Jesus complex, but we don't put ourselves in the position of Jesus, if that makes sense. Like, we're all looking for somebody to crucify, especially those from among us. We're searching for the person that's going to put themselves on the line, you know, put the cape on, who's going to be willing to go through all the, you know, trials and tribulations of trying to be pleasing in your eyes, which will never be, because we're unpleasable. You get what I'm saying? We're unsatisfied. We'll never be satisfied with what any of us do from among us, especially among us. Any other culture, yeah, you know, we'll appreciate anything they do or set forth to say. But when it comes to us, doing for us, we don't appreciate nothing. So it's never going to be enough. Your best will never be enough. And then if you go beyond your best, that's not going to be enough. So I think from among us, we're looking for someone to crucify who's going to be willing and volunteer themselves to be crucified and undergo all the criticism, scrutiny, you know, all the backlash from standing up and speaking out on our behalf, you know. They want somebody to volunteer for all the backbiting that will occur from among those who you're standing up on behalf of. And it's like they got us so psychologically fucked, like messed up. Excuse my bilingualness just then, but I just want to stress that point. They got us so messed up religiously, thinking in that sense, like thinking in terms of what we believe we need while in flesh, you know, and trying to line it up with the belief that has always crippled and hindered our progress, you know, before this point in time in history, you know, before now. Certain religious beliefs has done nothing but hindered and crippled our attempts to raise up to be greater men and women among our peers in our communities, you know. Certain ideologies is not fitting for developing people. You know, it's not righteous for a developing people because it was imposed on you by a developed or more developed people. Only not intellectually or anything like that, more developed civilization-wise, you know, as far as that's concerned. As far as modern civilization is concerned, keeping up with the times. Because we're still behind, you know, no matter what some of us like to think, how smart some of us think we are, how different and set aside some of us think we are, you know. We're all in the same boat, so to speak. And the boat is rocking back, forth, you know what I'm saying? And some people are jumping up and down on the boat. you know? And some people are trying to steady the boat, but we're all in the same boat nonetheless, you know? And all this being said, I was just thinking about something that occurred like earlier. And it's real funny to me how those who criticize you for not being considerate have no consideration, you know? Those who are most critical have no self-awareness, I think it is, are not self-aware to this point where they can hold themselves accountable, to the point where they understand where they went wrong, what they did wrong, how they took a misstep, you know, how they're not giving what they're asking to receive, you know. And only not in terms of materially, I'm just talking in terms of upright qualities, you feel me, virtuous qualities that you feel as though you deserve, but you are unable to give, you know, to others, you know. That's just like somebody that's screaming, man, nobody listens to me, and blah, 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 blah. But then you get in situations where you're always over talking people, you're cutting people off. Somebody that you might have been talking to might have asked you, so you get what I'm saying? And you might have said, yeah, and then you said, how so? How do you agree? And you can't even remember because you were so ready to say what you had to say. You know, those are the main type of people. The person I just explained, that be saying nobody listens to him. You feel me? It's funny, man. It's funny. And I can't seem to put my finger on it. It might not just be a race thing, like a color thing, you know? It might just be a human being thing, you know? Some people are stuck in a state of immaturity. So therefore, their actions are going to be childlike, you know? And your exposure, and that in conjunction with socialization, how you were socialized, determines your maturity level over time, you know? Because you can only, this is my belief, you know, puberty, yeah, like your physical maturity, that's one thing. But you know the term man-child, right? Man-child is somebody that has grown physically, but mentally they're still they're childish, you know? And shit, you can say that for women, like women child too. Like it goes both ways, but you just hear more of the man-child, if you ever heard that term. That's the one that's more common or officially a term, if you will. But that's what that means, you know? And there's a lot of those type of people out and about these days, like down and around. It's not hard to run into those kind of people these days. Shit, somebody might think I'm like that, you know, a man-child, mature, like with, you know, facial hair and all that, but not intellectually or mentally in a place where I need to be. And that's all objective or subjective? I want to say subjective. Might be subjective. That depends on the person you're speaking to is what I mean to say. It depends on the mood, the feeling, the faith, the belief of the person you're speaking to. That determines somebody's belief that one person is immature or mature. I feel as though it should line up with what your purpose is in life, and it should also be measured by actions and consequences, and whether it hinders or progresses in a direction that is positive based on your purpose. Meaning, there can be a person that has matured in the art of backstabbing. So to other backstabbers who are trying to learn to be a backstabber, because of their trajectory and what direction they seek to go in, what they believe their purpose is, the ultimate backstabber is somebody that is mature in the art of backstabbing. They have, you know, graduated, you know, valedictorian is it what it's called? You know, top of the class, because they're a great backstabber. They're deceitful, they're cunning, they're, you know, witty, they think on their feet. So other backstabbers look at this person like, damn, they're mature. I'm trying to get on that level someday, because that is their mutual purpose. On the flip side, a person that is consciously trying to steer clear of all backstabbing, you know, all backbiting, you know, all deception, all things that might make this person fall short of their chosen glory, you know. They might see this person as sadly immature or dangerously immature, you know, because it doesn't coincide with their trajectory, you know, what they believe their purpose is. Whatever that may be, that's making it to where they want to distance themselves from the ultimate backstabber, you know? So I just wanted to illustrate how it just depends on the person and what they believe their purpose is in life. That will 9 times out of 10 be the determining factor or the way that someone will claim in their criticism and their scrutinizing whether somebody is this or that, righteous or wrong, you know, mature or immature, you feel me? It just depends on the person that's being spoken to, you feel me? So you gotta be who you are, no matter where you are, you know, in order to make it to where you need to be, or where you want to be, or where you should be, you know? Where you should be is where you're supposed to be, you know? And you'll never make it there trying to be somebody you're not meant to be, you know? So, again, I say all this to say, it baffles me how people expect to receive what they don't put out. You feel me? You want love, but you can't show love. It's crazy now. Think about what's going on now. You want somebody to give you the world, but you can't even provide respect. You know what I'm saying? You want somebody to give you everything, but you can't even provide something, you know, or anything. You get what I'm saying? It's lopsided. And if you're a certain... Now, I'm not trying to be this guy, because I'm not even going to say that then, matter of fact, because I know once I say it, it's going to be up for debate, interpretation. So I'm not even going to say it, you feel me? But I was going to say there is a certain segment of the population that enjoys more privileges than the other, you know? And it's blatant, it's clear, it's getting more... The line is becoming more and more defined with this certain type of privilege, you feel me? And those who are the beneficiaries of this privilege know it, and they're flaunting it, and they're speaking on it, and they're letting it be known that they know that they enjoy this type of privilege, and they're standing on that. They're stepping behind that privilege. You know, they're doing whatever they want to do, you know, no matter who crashes or, you know, try to get a clue about what to do in the vicinity and the presence of these who have this certain privilege, you know. It doesn't matter. They're just leaving devastation, hurt, you know, disappointment, aggravation in their wake. You know what I'm saying? Down their path. You feel me? So it's like, and privilege is a motherfucker because, and excuse my bilingualness again, but privilege is something else because, again, that's also objective or subjective? Subjective. That's based on the discretion of the person that is able to lend the benefits for that privilege. You get what I'm saying? It's all in how they view the person that is privileged, or vice versa. You know? Am I making sense? Hopefully I'm making sense to you. But privilege is only as powerful as how much is validated. Do you feel what I'm saying? It wouldn't be anything if it wasn't acknowledged by those who are willing to do for on behalf of those with that privilege. So, in the land we're living in, if you're paying attention to what's going on, these particular people, you know, have no issue getting somebody to believe that they are worth everything that they're breaking people for. You feel me? If that makes sense. I hope it makes sense to you. If it don't, just let it go over your head. You know, it wasn't meant for you to understand. It's cool. But all this being said, whether you have privileges, whether you don't have privileges, whether you are well off or trying to come up, you know, whether you're eating with the silver spoon or eating it with your hands out the mud, either way it go, man, you must believe in the principle of reciprocity. I've said this many times in many other videos and some of my music that I've created, because I really believe in this principle of reciprocity. I feel as though it would cure a lot of ills, it will solve a lot of problems, it will cease and dismantle a lot of confusion, you know, because you wouldn't be willing to put out what you don't want back if it's negative. Like if you don't want negativity to come back to you and everybody operated on reciprocity, you wouldn't put it out. You feel me? So yeah, that's that. Just wanted to share that point. I felt it important to do so. You know, be mature about your dealings and how you're maneuvering and operating with people or around people or in conjunction with people. You know what I'm saying? Be mindful of that and understand that there are consequences, even if you don't see them right away. There are consequences for every action. There are consequences for inaction. Do you know what I'm saying? There's consequences for taking a blessing for granted. There's consequences for those things. You know, and everybody has heard about cause and effect, you know? There's something that causes an effect. Something is the stimulus or the catalyst for something else to occur, you feel me? Not justifying anybody dying at the hands of somebody who is unstable and insecure or any of those traits that make it to where somebody goes over the deep end. I'm not justifying this in any way, but you have to understand one thing. Don't cast bait if you don't want to hook a big fish. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to hook a shark, don't cast your bait, your line, you feel me? Don't fish for what you're not trying to catch. You get what I'm saying? Don't do it. That's the only point. And you know, perception is a big thing. Perception is definitely a key in many areas. Perception makes action and reactions forever connected, you know? Perception is directly tied to treatment. You feel me? How you perceive one is how you treat one. You feel me? And that being said, perception is also based on discretion. What somebody chooses to believe about you, you know what I'm saying? Whether they heard it about you, whether they saw something that they might have misconstrued or whatever the case may be, you know, it's a matter of them deciding based on their discretion to perceive you a certain way. And that is attached to a certain type of treatment, you know. But I'm gonna leave it there. I just wanted to share these thoughts on my mind. Yeah, more food for thought, you know. And yeah, indeed.